There are 7 habits that separate the mega successful from everyone else, and here's what nobody tells you about them. They are not waking up at 4 a.m. They are not about cold plunges, or productivity stacks, or optimizing every hour of your day. Some of the most successful people alive do less of what you've been told to do. So if you've been working hard and feel stuck, there's a reason for that, and it starts here. Be honest with yourself for a second. You're not lazy, you actually care, deeply, about building something better, a better career, a better financial situation, a better version of yourself. The ambition is real. But somewhere between the ambition and the actual results, there's this gap, this frustrating, exhausting gap, where you've been putting in effort and not seeing the movement you expected, where you feel busy all of the time, but somehow not closer to where you want to be. And the worst part is the comparison. Watching people around you, people who don't seem more talented, more intelligent, or more driven than you. Somehow pulling further ahead, building things, creating momentum, living at a level that feels just out of reach for you. That gap isn't about effort, it's about the specific set of habits operating underneath everything else. These are the 7 that actually move the needle. And habit 6 is the one most people find genuinely uncomfortable, because it means letting go of something most of us hold on to without realising. Habit 1. They own their morning before the world does. The mega successful are almost universally intentional about one thing above everything else: the first hour of their day. Not because of some aesthetic routine they post on social media, but because they understand something most people don't. That the first hour of your morning sets the neurological and emotional tone for everything that follows. Most people wake up and immediately hand that first hour over. Phone, notifications, other people's urgency and opinions flooding in before a single original thought has formed. And then they spend the rest of the day feeling reactive, like they're responding to life rather than directing it. The habit isn't about what you do in the morning, it's about who owns it. Even 20 minutes of intentional space before the noise begins changes the entire quality of the day that follows. Habit 2. They've made peace with discomfort. This one is genuinely underrated. The mega successful don't enjoy discomfort any more than you do. They've just developed a fundamentally different relationship with it. Average people avoid discomfort. Successful people have learned to treat it as a signal, not a stop sign. When the difficult conversation needs to happen, they have it. When the hard decision needs to be made, they make it. When the task requires deep focus and every part of them wants to do something easier, they do the task. Not because they are superhuman, because they've had enough repetitions with discomfort to know it doesn't break them. And every time you push through resistance, even slightly, you're building the same tolerance, the same muscle. The gap between where you are and where you want to be is almost always filled with things you've been avoiding. Habit 3. They think in systems, not moods. Here's a pattern that shows up constantly when you study high performers. They don't rely on feeling ready. They've built structures that work regardless of how they feel. Because motivation is unreliable. It arrives when things are exciting and vanishes exactly when you need it most. The mega successful aren't more motivated than you, they are more systemized. The most important daily behaviours aren't negotiable. They are just what happens, non-negotiable, automatic, built into the structure of the day, rather than left to the mercy of how they feel when the alarm goes off. Think about what that would look like in your own life, if the things you know you should be doing every day were simply done. Not when the motivation came, just done. What would change in 6 months? Let's stop here for a second, because something needs to be said. You probably recognise these habits. Some version of them has crossed your path before. And if you're honest, there's a part of you that already knows what you need to do differently. So why is the gap still there? Because knowing and doing are separated by something nobody talks about enough. The daily accumulation of small compromises. The morning you handed over to your phone. The hard conversation you rescheduled. The system you never built because building it felt like effort and today was already heavy enough. Those aren't dramatic failures. They are quiet ones. And quietly, over months and years, they compound into a version of your life that doesn't reflect what you're actually capable of. The people who have closed the gap didn't do it through one big dramatic change. They did it through the next 4 habits. And the way habit 5 reframes energy is something most people have never thought about before. Habit 4. They manage energy, not just time. Everyone talks about time management, The successful are obsessed with energy management because time is fixed. You get 24 hours like everyone else, but the quality of what you produce in those hours varies enormously depending on your physical and mental state. 1 hour of genuine high energy focus will outperform 3 hours of grinding through fog every single time. This is why the most successful people are almost aggressively protective of their sleep, their movement, and who they spend sustained time with. It's not self-indulgence, it's performance architecture. Think about the things in your life that reliably drain you, the environments, the conversations, the habits. Now think about how much time you spend recovering from those things versus actually creating. Energy leaks are everywhere, and most people don't notice them until they're running on empty and wondering why everything feels so hard. Habit 5. They learn with intention to apply. The successful are almost all relentless learners. But there's a specific quality to how they learn that separates them from people who just consume a lot of content. They learn with immediate application in mind. They don't read, watch, and listen passively, collecting ideas like trophies. They consume with a specific question running in the background. How does this change what I do this week? Most people learn and let it stay theoretical. Interesting content that never becomes action, and over time they have a head full of concepts and a life that looks exactly the same as before they learned them. Knowledge without application isn't wisdom, it's just expensive entertainment. And if you're honest, you probably already know enough to take the next step. The information was never the bottleneck. Habit 6. They've stopped needing approval to move. This is the uncomfortable one. The successful have developed the ability to move in a direction even when the people around them don't understand it, support it, or believe in it. Not out of arrogance, out of a quiet, settled confidence in their own direction that doesn't require external validation to stay intact. Most people make their decisions, consciously or not, inside an invisible framework of other people's opinions. They shrink the goal to reduce the friction. They slow down to avoid standing out. They choose the path that's easiest to explain at family dinners, and the life they build reflects those compromises. The moment you stop needing the people around you to understand your direction before you commit to it, everything accelerates. If nobody in your life is slightly confused by what you're building, you're probably not building something big enough. Habit 7. They redefine what failure means. This is one that separates people who eventually break through from people who stay stuck indefinitely. The mega successful don't experience failure as evidence of who they are. They experience it as data about what to adjust. That distinction sounds simple. It isn't. Most people carry their failures as identity. Each setback quietly reinforces the story. Maybe I'm not meant for this. Maybe I'm not capable. And that story becomes the ceiling. The successful don't lack failure. They fail constantly, often more than average, because they attempt more than average. The difference is the meaning they assign to it. Failure means adjust, not stop. And once that reframe is genuinely installed, not as a concept, but as a default response, the fear of starting, the fear of being wrong, the fear of being seen trying and not succeeding, loses most of its power. That gap between the effort you're putting in and the results you're actually seeing, it was never about working harder. It was about these 7 habits operating quietly underneath everything else, or not operating. And the difference between those two things is the difference between the life you have and the life you keep picturing. You already know which habit you need most right now. The only question is, what are you going to do about it today? Not tomorrow, not when things calm down, today. And if you could relate to this video, drop a comment and let me know which habit you are going to start working on. And don't forget to like and subscribe.